What if the most relentless social media campaign of the decade wasn't chaos, but a vicious revenge plot? Today, we're dissecting 50 Cent's masterclass in 21st century warfare against his rival, Sean Diddy Combs. This was a long-game strategy to not just humble a king, but to dismantle his entire cultural empire. But how did he do it? Stay tuned as we reveal the shocking, multi-phase plot designed to permanently usurp his throne. Number 1. The Seeds of Discontent. To comprehend the sheer ferocity of 50 Cent's current campaign,
What up, baby? What up, man? How are you?
one must first excavate the historical bedrock of their rivalry. This is not a new fire. It is the violent eruption of a long, smoldering volcano. The origins are not rooted in diss tracks exchanged over airwaves, but in the cold, hard calculus of commerce and the shadowy, unspoken codes of the streets. Long before the recent deluge of damning allegations against Diddy surfaced, these two men were locked in a quiet but intense battle for the same coveted crown, the undisputed king of the hip-hop entrepreneur. Their most public early conflict, the vodka wars of the mid-2010s, serves as a perfect prologue. Diddy, with his marketing Midas touch, had taken a struggling French vodka, Ciroc, and transformed it into a billion-dollar cultural monolith. Ciroc was not merely a spirit, it was the liquid embodiment of Diddy's frequency, an aspirational signal of celebration, access, and elite status broadcast from every VIP section and music video. Seeing this market dominance, 50 Cent, the eternal disruptor, stormed into the same space with effin' vodka. His marketing was the antithesis of Diddy's polished glamour. It was guerrilla warfare, aggressive, provocative, and relentlessly mocking. He famously used the tagline, "It's not Puffy's juice," a direct, disrespectful assault on his rival's brand. He would crash liquor store events and post endless social media clips needling Diddy, framing the rivalry as a clear choice for consumers. 50's raw authenticity versus Diddy's manufactured artifice. This was not just a brand war, it was 50 Cent's first major strategic assault on the very foundations of Diddy's commercial empire. But the animosity runs deeper into the tectonic plates of hip-hop history. 50 Cent was forged in the gritty streets of South Jamaica, Queens, a narrative cemented by the legendary story of his survival after being shot 9 times. He rose to global fame under the mentorship of Eminem and Dr. Dre, titans of the West Coast sphere whose ethos was rooted in raw lyricism and production. This stood in stark contrast to Diddy's shiny suit era of Bad Boy Records, which prioritized glamorous visuals and radio-friendly hits. While never direct participants in the tragic East Coast-West Coast war of the 90s, both men were profoundly shaped by its fallout, learning that in the world of hip-hop, perception is power, and perceived weakness is a death sentence. Their respective circles and philosophies placed them on opposite sides of a cultural chessboard, quietly gathering stones for a war that, decades later, would finally be declared. Number 2. The Predator's Patience. What does a master strategist do when his adversary is at the zenith of his power, seemingly untouchable? He does not attack. He waits. He watches. He learns. For nearly a decade, the overt conflict between 50 Cent and Diddy went dormant. During this time, Diddy's influence swelled to imperial proportions. He was no longer just a music mogul. He was Brother Love, a cultural curator hosting legendary all-white parties in the Hamptons and star-studded New Year's Eve galas in Miami that were broadcast to millions. He was the billionaire tastemaker whose cosign could launch careers and whose lifestyle defined black excellence for a generation. His kingdom, fueled by Ciroc and De Leon tequila, seemed impenetrable. From the outside, it appeared 50 Cent had conceded the lifestyle war and moved on. This assumption was a grave miscalculation. This period of public silence was not an armistice. It was a period of intense, strategic reconnaissance. While Diddy was basking in the perpetual spotlight, 50 Cent was meticulously building a different, more durable kind of empire. a television dynasty. With the creation of the Power Universe on the Starz network, he transformed himself into a formidable executive producer and Hollywood power player. Point Two Power taught him the art of long-form narrative, of manipulating audience perception over multiple seasons, of building and destroying complex characters in the public eye. This experience in a writer's room would become a crucial, devastating weapon in his arsenal against Diddy. During these years of observation, 50 Cent was not just building his own kingdom, he was deconstructing his rivals. He watched Diddy's every move, the carefully curated social media presence that projected effortless joy, the ever-shifting personas designed to stay relevant, the powerful network of celebrity allies who orbited him. He was identifying the foundational pillars of the Diddy mythos, knowing that Diddy's power was not just financial but reputational. It was built on a meticulously protected image of cool charisma and unassailable influence. 50 Cent, the patient predator, understood that to bring down a king of this stature, you couldn't just storm the castle gates. You had to poison the well of public opinion from which his entire kingdom drank. The world saw peace, but 50 Cent was simply sharpening his knives, waiting for the first sign of weakness. As we uncover 50 Cent's strategic patience, please subscribe and like the video. It helps us deliver more. Number 3. The first crack in the armor. The moment he had been waiting for arrived with the force of a lightning strike on November 16, 2023. The bombshell civil lawsuit filed by singer and Diddy's former long-term partner, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, was the first catastrophic crack in the dam. The lawsuit contained graphic and deeply disturbing allegations of a decade-long cycle of physical abuse, psychological control, and intimate trafficking. It was a narrative so dark it threatened to extinguish the bright, shiny legacy Diddy had spent 30 years building. The industry was paralyzed, while many celebrities, some of them Diddy's closest friends, retreated into a deafening silence, terrified of challenging a man with so much institutional power. 50 Cent did not hesitate. He pounced. His reaction was immediate, surgically precise, and utterly relentless. This was not the impulsive gloating of a simple rival. It was the decisive, long-awaited action of a general launching a pre-planned invasion. His first Instagram posts were not just jokes. They were calculated strategic probes designed to gauge the public's reaction and amplify the most damning aspects of the allegations to his millions of followers. He immediately seized control of the narrative, framing Diddy as the ultimate hypocrite. The man who preached black excellence and love was now facing accusations that painted him as a monstrous predator. One of his earliest and most brilliant maneuvers was to publicly offer to buy Diddy's media network, Revolt TV, for a pittance. On the surface, it was a disrespectful, trolling comment. Strategically, it was a multi-layered act of public humiliation. First, it sent a clear message to the industry that he believed Diddy's empire was already crumbling. Second, it publicly questioned Diddy's financial stability at his moment of greatest vulnerability. Finally, he cemented the insult with an infamous recurring post. "I'll buy that from you for $1. It was the ultimate power play, turning a complex legal and moral crisis into a simple, brutal, and unforgettable punchline. The first phase of the plot was complete. The narrative had been hijacked. Number 4. The weaponization of social media. What does a modern character assassination look like? For 50 Cent, the battlefield is the infinite scroll of Instagram, and his munitions are memes, screenshots, and devastatingly sarcastic captions. In the months that followed the initial lawsuit, he unleashed a campaign of psychological warfare so persistent and effective, it has become a masterclass in the weaponization of social media. This was not random trolling. It was a sophisticated, multi-pronged operation designed to systematically dismantle Diddy's public persona, piece by painful piece, until nothing was left but ridicule. The foundation of his campaign was constant, unrelenting pressure. 50 Cent posted about Diddy almost daily, sometimes multiple times per hour. He acted as the scandal's obsessive town crier, ensuring the story never left the digital news cycle. While mainstream media would report on a new development and then move on, 50 Cent kept the conversation at a fever pitch, applying relentless psychological pressure on Diddy, his legal team, and his dwindling network of supporters. This constant pressure was amplified by his complete mastery of meme warfare. He understood a fundamental truth of the digital age. Complex legal allegations are dense, but memes are infectious. He translated the horrifying accusations into the universal language of the internet. He used humorous, often absurd images and viral video clips to make the disturbing narrative digestible and highly shareable. This strategy was diabolically brilliant. It stripped the situation of its solemnity while making the core allegations more pervasive. He was systematically destroying Diddy's carefully manufactured image of cool and replacing it with an indelible stain of mockery. He also skillfully employed a tactic of receipts and recontextualization. He became a digital archaeologist, digging up old interviews, past television appearances, and forgotten clips of Diddy. He would then repost these receipts and frame them in the new, damning context of the allegations. A clip of Diddy talking about control or power, once seen as motivational, was now presented as a sinister confession. This created a powerful narrative of long-standing hypocrisy, suggesting the alleged behavior was not an anomaly, but a pattern hidden in plain sight. Tying all these elements together, he cemented his role as the central aggregator and narrator of the entire scandal. He reposted every negative news article from outlets big and small, every new lawsuit that was filed, and every speculative blog post. His Instagram page became the unofficial headquarters for anyone following Diddy's downfall. By controlling the flow of information, he was able to frame the entire unfolding saga through his own lens of derision and condemnation. This wasn't a beef, it was a meticulously executed digital demolition. Number 5. The documentary. Just when the world believed his campaign was confined to the chaotic realm of social media, 50 Cent revealed the final, most devastating phase of his alleged revenge plot. He announced with great fanfare that his G-Unit film and television company was already in production on a multi-part documentary series titled Diddy Do It? This move was the strategic checkmate, an act of such calculated brilliance that it elevates the entire campaign from a personal vendetta to a cultural event. The viciousness of this masterstroke is multi-layered. The most immediate effect is a stunning moral judo flip, achieved by publicly announcing that all net proceeds from the documentary would be donated to victims of intimate assault. In a single move, he transformed himself from a rival, gloating over another's misfortune, into a noble philanthropist, a champion for victims, and a righteous seeker of justice. This act of performative altruism granted him an almost impenetrable shield of moral high ground, making it nearly impossible for anyone to criticize his motivations without appearing to defend Diddy. It was a benevolent gesture that doubled as a brutal final attack. Just as critically, the documentary guarantees the story's immortality. Social media posts are ephemeral, news cycles are fickle, but a documentary streamed on a major platform becomes a permanent, authoritative part of the cultural record. It ensures that for decades to come, any student, journalist, or curious individual searching for information on Sean Diddy Combs will inevitably encounter a definitive narrative meticulously crafted and produced by his greatest rival. He is not just reporting on Diddy's downfall, he is ensuring it is etched into the granite of history, perhaps most powerfully, it allows him to seize control of the definitive narrative. A documentary format affords him the power to shape the story exactly as he sees fit, through carefully selected interview subjects, perhaps other alleged victims or disgruntled former bad boy artists, archival footage, and expert commentary. He can present his version of events as objective, historical truth. This calculated move from online antagonist to esteemed documentary producer is the ultimate power play, a way to ensure that Curtis 50 Cent Jackson gets the last word forever. Number 6. The Endgame. What then is the ultimate objective of this relentless, all-consuming campaign? The endgame of 50 Cent's alleged revenge plot extends far beyond seeing Diddy fail, go to jail, or lose his fortune. The true goal is something far more profound, ambitious, and absolute: the complete and total erasure of the Diddy legacy and the successful usurpation of his throne as the ultimate hip-hop mogul. The real-world consequences of this plot, fueled by the serious legal allegations, have been catastrophic for Sean Combs. His sprawling mansions in Miami and Los Angeles were raided by federal agents in a dramatic televised spectacle. He was forced to step down as chairman of Revolt TV, the very network he built to champion black voices. His honorary degree from Howard University was rescinded. Major brands and corporations, once desperate for his association, have severed all ties, treating his name as radioactive. The Puff Daddy and Bad Boy brands, once unassailable symbols of aspirational black excellence and entrepreneurial spirit, are now irrevocably tainted by scandal. While the allegations themselves are the direct cause of this downfall, 50 Cent's relentless amplification campaign acted as a powerful accelerant, ensuring that public pressure never subsided and that the brand damage was maximized to an irreversible degree. By relentlessly attacking Diddy's character, his business acumen, and his cultural standing, 50 Cent is systematically dismantling the entire mythos that Diddy spent over 30 years constructing. Every meme that goes viral, every damning headline he amplifies is another chisel blow to the marble statue of the mogul. The ultimate victory for 50 Cent would be a world where the name Diddy no longer conjures images of champagne, yachts, and the Hamptons, but is instead a shorthand for scandal, abuse, and public humiliation. In this newly created vacuum, who stands as the smarter, more authentic, and ultimately more powerful hip-hop entrepreneur? It is the man who built a television empire from scratch, the man who survived the streets, the man who outmaneuvered his rival with the brutal efficiency of a military strategist. The endgame is a hostile takeover of history itself, where 50 Cent is remembered not just as a successful rapper and businessman, but as the cunning tactician who single-handedly orchestrated the fall of the once mighty Bad Boy empire. And remember to subscribe, because our content is more relentless than 50 Cent's Instagram feed. Now, get ready to trade hip-hop warfare for a tech titan's tyranny as we expose. Elon Musk's ex-wife exposes his shocking secret lifestyle.